Here's a interesting thought experiment that just occurred to me. There's all these Olympians. Let's take an event, any event, 100-meter dash, whatever it is. They all come in with varying degrees of belief, and obviously their training and their natural talent and all these things. How much of an influence do you think the mental training and the belief training is affecting the outcomes of these really tight events?
I think massively so. I don't know if I could put a percentage on it. I've heard people say, maybe it's 80. I think it was Ranulph Fiennes, who's a famous British sort of explorer character, once said that he attributed climbing Everest at age 70 or 70 something to being 80% mental and 20% physical. I don't know what I would put on it, because there's been other races. I can't remember the year now. Was it 20? Anyway, I did the World Championships in 2019, I think it was, or maybe it was 2018, and I went in absolutely solid that I trained really well, that I could pull it off and maintain my place on the team, because to maintain my place, it became clear that I needed to make the podium, and I missed the podium, so I didn't make it. But mentally, I thought I was solid with it, but it didn't quite work. So I think that, but I think there's something quite subtle in that mental solidity. Sometimes it's a fine line between us trying to convince ourselves and somewhere deep beneath it feeling really solid. And maybe, I don't know the answer, but it's clearly a massive part of it. But I think there's something about the depth to which it goes, which has an influence.
Yeah, it's reminding me of something that I have a lot of clients, and I'm sure you do as well, that deal with this imposter syndrome, and they can intellectually understand that they are the right person for the job, or that they should be the one giving the instructions, as a CEO or whatever it might be. But inside, there's something that they're not convinced somewhere deep in there. And it's an interesting process of how does someone actually come to believe that, no, you should be doing this. You're the best in the world at this. And like, you have a right to be here, like telling people how it is.
I think for my thoughts on that are that imposter syndrome sometimes is about, I wonder if it's culturally acquired, like something about not sticking your head up above the parapet, not wanting to sort of stand out or be different from other people. Maybe it's a part of us that really wants to not stand out, that wants to be like everybody else so we can all be connected. And I've certainly dealt within myself and my own journey. I still struggle with sometimes a sense of separation. I'm kind of not everyone's, but I'm kind of like the inspiring friend or the inspiring figure, and everyone's like, oh, it's amazing what you do. And it feels like sometimes that just separates me, because I'm still human. So I still go through the struggle, and I still, I want to connect with people. I don't want to be something that's kind of on a pedestal somewhere that people think, oh, I could never do that or be like that. Or I just, so I kind of resist it. I resist standing out, or resist over the years. I've resisted perhaps taking leadership in different situations. For a number of years, I resisted stepping up to being a coach, because I kind of felt like, who am I to coach someone or think that I might know anything better than anyone else? But actually, I think if we just keep reminding ourselves that we're all human, we're all flawed, and we're all perfect, and we all have different experiences, and sometimes those experiences can be really helpful to other people. So just kind of embrace who we are, I think.
It's funny, as I was preparing for this interview, I was seeing all of your accomplishments and feeling a little bit of like, ooh, maybe I should have done more with my life. Because you have a lot of pretty amazing things you've done. And I got into that comparison mode a little bit.
So there you go. So let's just delete all of that. Because I look at other people and think, well, I haven't done all these other things. When people ask me what I'm inspired by, often the people that inspire me are people that are living sort of maybe less adventurous lives in the way that I do, but they've built families and communities and committed to things that they're really building something deep and connected around them. Whereas sometimes I feel like I haven't done any of that bit. And yeah, we can always compare ourselves. I think we all put other people in places that actually create separation from them and us. And I try, and it makes me giggle when I think about my my career in sport, and the fact that when people win races, there's this podium with all these different levels, with the the gold higher up, the silver another level, and the bronze another level. Whereas my whole life is kind of spent trying to equalize where we see everybody. So it's kind of interesting.
Hmm.